Have you ever heard of a single source of water that's been flowing for millennia, quenching the thirst of literally billions of people? It's a well so legendary, its story is woven right into the fabric of one of the world's biggest faiths. Okay, let's dive into the incredible story of the Well of Zamzam.
And this really gets to the heart of it all. In an age where we're always talking about resource scarcity, how does one ancient, hand-dug well in the middle of a desert valley keep providing water for millions upon millions of people year after year? Well, the answer is this amazing mix of miracle and modern-day science. So here it is. This is the Well of Zamzam. It's located just about 20 meters east of the Kaaba, right inside the Holy Mosque in Makkah. For Muslims, its importance is just profound. It's all tied to this incredible origin story, and it's cherished as a truly sacred source of water.
And what's absolutely mind-boggling is its age. We're talking about a well that's been in continuous use for approximately 4,000 years. Think about that. That makes it one of the most enduring water sources in all of human history.
Now, to really understand why this well is so important, we've got to go all the way back to its beginning. And let me tell you, it's not a story of convenience. It's a story born from absolute sheer desperation.
So the story starts with Prophet Ibrahim. Following God's command, he leaves his wife, Hajra, and their baby son, Ismail, in this totally desolate valley. Soon enough, their water runs out. Hajra, in a desperate panic, runs back and forth 7 times between 2 hills, looking for help, for water, for anything. And then, a miracle. The angel Gabriel appears, scrapes the ground, and a spring of water just bursts forth. This spring not only saved them, it attracted travelers and caravans, and it's what eventually led to the founding of the city of Makkah.
And the name itself, Zamzam, it actually comes from that very moment. Hajar, worried the water would just flow away, tried to contain it with her hands, repeating the phrase Zamzam, which means stop flowing. And just like that, the well got its unique name.
This is where that ancient story just comes roaring into the present. Hajar's frantic search for water is now a fundamental ritual of the Hajj and Umrah pilgrimages. Millions of people every year reenact her 7 journeys between those same 2 hills, Safa and Marwa.
All right, let's fast forward to the modern era, because this is where a monumental challenge starts to build. For centuries, the well served a steady flow of visitors. But then the 20th century came along and changed absolutely everything.
The scale of demand is completely different. What used to be a simple resting spot for caravans, where you draw water by hand with a rope and a bucket, is now a global spiritual destination. Today, electric pumps are working around the clock, supplying water to fountains and distribution centers for a massive, year-round flow of visitors.
And to put a number on it, just try to wrap your head around this. Back in the mid-1970s, about 400,000 people visited Makkah each year. Today, that number has exploded to several million. This incredible surge raised a really serious question. Could this ancient well actually keep up? And the demand isn't just for a quick drink while you're there. Oh no, pilgrims cherish this water. They drink it throughout their stay, and they carry bottles of it back home for their families and friends. This adds a whole other layer of pressure on the supply. So how do you protect a 4,000-year-old resource from being completely depleted by this modern demand? Well, this is where 21st century science steps in to sustain a site of ancient faith.
The main responsibility for this huge task falls to the Saudi Geological Survey, or the SGS. Now, unlike most geological surveys around the world, the SGS has this unique and sacred duty to oversee the well-being of Islam's 2 holiest cities, Makkah and Medina.
And within the SGS, they created a special division just for this, the Zamzam Studies and Research Center, or ZSRC. Its mission couldn't be clearer. Use science to define, monitor, and manage the well's water source to make absolutely sure its quality and quantity can meet this ever-growing demand. See, to protect the well, scientists first had to really understand it. It's about 30 meters deep, dug through sand and silt on top, but it goes down into solid bedrock. The key thing they discovered is that most of the water doesn't seep in from the top. It actually flows in through a very specific layer of porous rock deep underground, which taps into the groundwater that collects under the whole valley. In the past, they monitored water levels mechanically, with a pen drawing a line on a rotating drum. Kinda old school, right? Well, today, the ZSRC uses a super sophisticated, real-time system. This digital data logger is constantly tracking everything: water level, temperature, pH, mineral content, you name it. It lets scientists monitor the well's health remotely 24/7. And the ZSRC's work is just massive.
They're not just passively watching a water level. No, they are actively managing how the city's growth impacts the aquifer, constantly upgrading the pumps and storage, optimizing how the water is distributed, and running intense quality control on the filtering and bottling plants to ensure every drop is pure.
So when you put it all together, what you have here is this perfect blend. A 4,000-year-old story of faith, a miraculous spring born from an act of desperation, is now being carefully managed and sustained for future generations by the precision of 21st century science. It's pretty amazing.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The story of Zamzam is such a powerful example of the ancient and the modern coming together. It really makes you wonder, right? Where else in our world do these timeless traditions and sacred places now depend on cutting-edge technology for their very survival?